The new advisory just issued from the Hurricane Center about 30 seconds ago. We now have 100-mile-an-hour winds with this hurricane as it bears down now, heading toward western Cuba. The outer band's already having an impact in South Florida. Look at the heavy rains developing right now across not only our area all through the Keys and all the way up around Fort Myers and Tampa. You can see it on the radar clearly as this big band really starts to fire up quickly this afternoon, and this is going to continue off and on through the overnight hours and into tomorrow. Excessive rainfall is possible, several inches of rain in each one of these bands as it works through. These are loosely connected to the outer feeder bands of this hurricane. All right, here's the track for this. So it moves right across the western tip of Cuba overnight and early tomorrow morning. Then a Category 4, that's Wednesday 2 a.m., winds at 140 miles an hour, and then pushing toward Tampa. This is Wednesday afternoon, 1:30, still a Category 4, and then a close approach or a direct landfall on the Tampa area as a Category 3, weakening as it approaches the coastline to a 1. That's Thursday. It slows down. Notice the difference in the track times here. That means it slows down. That is not good for several reasons. That means a higher storm surge. It also means higher chance for tremendous amounts of rainfall, eventually starting to lift north after that late in the week and Friday and Saturday and into Sunday. The model guidance shifted a little farther to the east today in the afternoon, and the official forecast track kind of matching along with that as it pushes through too. So the tropical storm force winds, that's the yellow area here, 40 miles an hour stronger, working in around southwest Florida. This is Wednesday morning around sunrise, then pushing around the lake, and that's why we have the tropical storm watch now for Lake Okeechobee. But the core of this hurricane still stays well to the west in the Gulf at that time. Into Thursday, making a landfall around Tampa, and then those winds, these are persistent. 40-mile-an-hour winds are stronger, working around the northern Treasure Coast and then eventually away from our area. So what we're dealing with is about the same as earlier, with the bands pushing in one after another. The core of the hurricane, the strongest winds and the heaviest rain staying well to the west, though. And each one of these bands will bring a tornado threat with it, really starting tomorrow into tomorrow night and into Wednesday, too. The probability of seeing tropical storm force winds, so 40 miles an hour stronger, about 45 to 50%. They've increased a little bit from earlier. But the chances for seeing hurricane force winds at 74 miles an hour stronger, so very low here, much higher, 1 in 3 chance back around the west coast of Florida. So we have that tropical storm watch for the lake area. We also have a watch along the west coast of Florida and a warning in effect for the Keys. So it is, of course, a big weather event for the west coast. It'll be messy here, and we are looking at these persistent winds continuing, really picking up later tomorrow and into Wednesday and Thursday, and that tropical storm watch, we'll keep a close eye on that. I want to bring in James Whelan. He has more of a real close local look at our area through the next few days.
Yeah, let's just time it out here. This is just one of our models here, the Vipercast model, and see when we're going to see some of this heavy rain moving on through. Now, it's not going to be exact, but we will see the chance of some of this moving on through, mainly coming in like we're seeing right now. From the south, we'll see some of this start to sweep on in, and as we go through time here, John, if you can maybe click it for me here, we'll see as it pushes in each time we get this little band, and then things will be a little bit quiet. John, maybe if we can click this for me back there, we'll get this in motion here, and we'll see that start to move on in. So there you go. See, here's a band that starts to move through, and that's Tuesday morning, and then we'll go again here, and we'll see generally a little bit of a break, and then another wave, and then another wave, with it really increasing as we get into late Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably now into Thursday, thanks to it stalling a little bit off the west coast. We will see these bands perpetually come in off and on. So we'll have more on that and the impacts of that. We could start to pick up a little bit more of rain since it stalls just off of the west coast, maybe up to 4 to possibly up to 6 inches or so. For more on the rest of it, let's go back over to Steve.
Okay, and also, with this advisory coming in literally 30 seconds before airtime, there is a new tropical storm watch for Jupiter Inlet north along the Treasure Coast. So we now have it around the Lake Okeechobee, tropical storm watch, and also Jupiter Inlet north up through the coastline. And the reason for that is that the storm is expected, once it makes landfall, to push more in a northeast direction as it heads generally toward Orlando and the Gainesville area. So our chances, probably probability of tropical storm force winds have increased here a little bit, 50-50. Those are 40-mile-an-hour winds or stronger, but the hurricane force winds, those stay the same, less than 5%. And again, the wind field pushing in really on Wednesday, with just brushing our area. Those very strong damaging winds still expected to stay well to the west after that.